Have you ever felt like you're just stuck? You know, like you're moving through life, but the world's in full color and you're seeing it all in black and white? Well, that feeling has a name. It's apathy. And it is so much more than just a bad mood. Today, we're going to get into the science of what's really happening in your brain when you feel that way, and, most importantly, what you can actually do to start getting that spark back.
Does any of this sound familiar? That sense of just going through the motions? Maybe feeling disconnected from the people and the hobbies you used to love? It's this heavy, kind of draining feeling, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack together. So, if you're sitting there nodding along, the first thing I want you to hear is this. You are so not alone in this. And it is absolutely not your fault. This isn't some kind of character flaw. It's actually a biological state, and the reason why is, well, it's truly fascinating.
All right, let's start by getting a real handle on this. What exactly is apathy? And what does it actually look like in our day-to-day lives?
So, at its heart, apathy is this persistent lack of feeling or interest or just concern. It's like the emotional volume on your life has been turned way, way down, making it really hard to find joy or purpose in just about anything. And you know, this isn't just something that's all in your head. Oh no, it's a full-body experience. Just look at these numbers. A massive 78% of people dealing with apathy report feeling tired all the time, and 72% find themselves physically inactive. This is a real physiological thing. Okay, so we know what it feels like, but what is actually going on inside our brains to cause this? This is where it starts to get really, really interesting.
Here's the absolute key. When you feel apathetic, it's often because your brain's entire reward system, you can think of it like its motivation engine, just isn't firing on all cylinders. And this isn't some abstract idea. Scientists can literally see this change on a brain scan.
This idea is backed up by some incredible research. A study back in 2015 pointed out that a problem with how our brain expects a reward is a common thread across a bunch of different conditions. And listen to that word. It's not about enjoying the reward itself. It's all about the anticipation of it.
So, to figure this out, scientists set up a simple little game. People would see a cue on a screen which signaled that they might get a small monetary reward. Then, they just had to wait for the outcome, and all the while, their brains were being scanned to see what was happening during that moment of anticipation.
And here's what they discovered. In healthy brains, this specific part of the brain called the ventral striatum, it's basically our reward headquarters, it lights up like crazy during that waiting period. But in the brains of people with conditions often linked to apathy, like depression, that same area was way, way less active.
So let's just boil it all down. When a healthy brain is anticipating something good, its motivation centers are buzzing with activity. But an apathetic brain? It shows way less activity. This is the proof. It means apathy isn't a choice or a lack of willpower. It's a measurable, physical state. That motivation engine is literally running on low power. You know, just understanding the why can be so empowering. But now we get to the most important part, the how. How in the world do we restart that engine and start to break the cycle?
Right. When you feel stuck, thinking about a 1,000-mile journey is, well, it's completely paralyzing. So the secret, the real trick, is to just forget about the whole journey for a second and focus on one single step.
We're talking about what experts call quick wins. These are tiny, manageable tasks that are almost too easy not to do. Seriously, things like taking a quick 10-minute walk or just reading 5 pages of a book. The point here isn't to fix everything at once. It's just to create a tiny spark of momentum and prove to your brain, hey, see, action is still possible.
Okay, so once you've taken that first tiny step, the next phase is all about building on it. It's about creating these small, consistent habits that slowly retrain your brain and build up some real, sustainable momentum.
Now, one of the most powerful tools you have here might surprise you. It's self-compassion. I'm serious. Research shows that practicing it can lead to a 52% improvement in our ability to regulate our emotions. You see, apathy loves to feed on self-criticism, so being kinder to yourself is a total game changer. So what does that actually look like? It can be as simple as this 3-step practice. First, just try to notice that critical inner voice and replace it with something kinder. Second, remind yourself that struggling is part of being human. You're not the only one. And third, just be aware of your feelings without judging them. It's a tiny practice that can have a huge impact.
We also need to give our brain the raw materials it needs to get that engine running again.
A simple 30-minute walk each day can boost dopamine. That's the motivation chemical we were talking about. Foods rich in omega-3s like salmon and walnuts support brain health. And a regular sleep schedule, absolutely fundamental for regulating your mood. These are direct physical ways to help your brain chemistry.
All right, finally, we have to talk about one of the biggest, sneakiest contributors to apathy, and that is isolation. We are social creatures, and connection isn't just nice to have, it is vital for our well-being.
And the numbers on this are just staggering. Social isolation can increase feelings of apathy by nearly 50%. Think about that. When we're disconnected, our world just shrinks, and that's when apathy really tightens its grip. Building a support network isn't a luxury, it's an absolute necessity.
Now, reconnecting can feel like a huge mountain to climb, so again, just start small. Maybe join an online group that shares one of your interests. Or just schedule a regular 10-minute call with a family member. The goal is just to create some consistent, positive social contact, no matter how small it feels.
And please remember that you do not have to do any of this alone. Reaching out for professional support is a sign of incredible strength. Things like cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, can give you real tools to shift the thought patterns that fuel apathy. And there are amazing organizations out there that can offer guidance.
So, if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Apathy is not your fault. It is a biological state. But, and this is a big but, you are not powerless. Small, consistent steps can literally begin to reactivate your brain's motivation engine.
And that brings us to the final question, and this one is just for you. Forget the 1,000-mile journey for a minute. Based on everything we've talked about, what is one small, super manageable step you can take today?